Richard Fuller.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and it's a pleasure to take part in this debate and to follow the Honourable Member for Richmond Park. This is a good bill, and I commend the Minister and his team for its drafting and for bringing this forward at this time. It is a very relevant bill for Bedfordshire. As my honourable friend, the Member for South West Bedfordshire, said earlier in this debate, many people in Bedfordshire work at London Luton Airport and in the associated supply chain for that airport. I'm sure if my honourable friend, the member for Mid Bedfordshire, who is a government minister under protocol, is not contributing in this debate, but I'm sure she would want to commend to the House the work of Cranfield University, which I believe is the only university with its own airport and has a leading role in our understanding of aircraft and airport and airspace management. And it's also a timely bill because, as the Minister will be aware, although, as he said, most have paused their consultation work on airspace changes currently, there is an ongoing consultation regarding airspace at Luton Airport in combination with Stansted. And if I may, I would, as part of my contribution, like to draw attention to certain features of that as they relate to this bill. The bill rightly recognises that in the allocation and sharing of the limited resource of airspace above the United Kingdom, there is a considerable public interest. And the bill focuses, in my view, correctly, on making sure that that process is done in a way that that overall public interest is achieved to the best extent, as quickly as and as efficiently as possible. In doing so, brings to the CAA and to the Ministry certain additional speeds to compel airports to make those changes that will achieve a speedier resolution of airspace allocations, which in turn will achieve some of our other goals. One of those most important goals, of course, is achieving air quality standards and making sure that our aviation industry is sustainable as we seek to achieve our climate change goals. And although the Right Honourable Member for Hayes and Harlington was right in his contribution to say that this bill is just a part and there is a larger whole that we need to consider, I hope he would recognise that the government is right to bring forward this part of the puzzle, which is a crucial part of us actually achieving that overall ambition. And the third area of public interest, of course, is in the issue of externalities. Although many people work at airports and many people use airports, a great number of people are also affected by airports and their use. Airports, by their very nature, can create noise pollution, they create air pollution, and they create congestion. And it is these points that come to the fore when consultations about airspace changes take place, as is the case currently with the Luton and Stansted airspace changes consultation. This process is underway, and the Minister therefore may be curtailed in what he can say today in this debate. But I would like to point out to him that many of my constituents feel that their ability as members of the public to participate in that consultation has been curtailed, not because of the restrictions due to COVID, but by the very framework upon which the public are able to voice their opinions about those changes. As part, I guess, intrinsically of the fact that the National Airspace Control is trying to move pieces around and achieve an overall whole picture that works for the nation as a country, the country as a whole, it sometimes is perhaps therefore limiting in what it can offer as suggestions to the public for their consultation. But I would say to the Minister that in the instance of London Luton Airport consultation, it is the case that the public have been left in Bedfordshire, been left with very limited choice about what they're being consulted on, and therefore they feel that their democratic voice is not being heard. And I'd just ask the Minister perhaps as part of this, what his consideration has been for ensuring that the public are able, as we achieve greater speed in the processes, of making sure the public truly do have a voice in the resolution of ultimately what is the decided flight paths. And this issue also goes on, Madam Deputy Speaker, to the issue of the sharing of benefits. The reason we're having a consultation in Bedfordshire is because Luton Airport wishes to expand, and that will be very much to the financial benefit of the operators of Luton Airport and also the landlords of Luton Airport, which is one of the local authorities in Bedfordshire, Luton Council. And from that expansion, both the airport operator and Luton Council should anticipate they'll achieve considerable increases in their revenues. And yet it is the residents of Bedfordshire and Cambridgeshire and Hertfordshire that will incur the costs of those externalities, whether it is in their air quality or their noise pollution, or indeed their ability to get around and about because of road congestion. This issue is not addressed in the bill, and again, I'd be interested in the Minister's view about whether this is an appropriate bill upon which we can start to see that as part of the allocation of airspace, there ought to be consideration about how those who are affected by those changes can receive compensation from those who benefit from those changes. With regard to the parts of the bill that refer to drones, this is a very welcome piece of additional legislation. It is a good move for the government to provide some order for how the criminal and the criminal uses of drones can be controlled. I was reassured in my conversations with the Minister that the additional burdens and responsibilities on police forces should not be considerable. This is a particular issue again in Bedfordshire where police resources are spread so thin, and as other members have said, it is particularly around airports that the issue of the misuse of drones becomes of such great concern to the public. And so I'd be grateful if the Minister today could also comment a bit further on his expectations of what the burden on police time may be, to give additional reassurance to the police. And whilst I'm on the issue of police, and I was interested in listening to the Honourable Member for Richmond Park in her comments about the police use of drones, this isn't in the bill, but I would point to the Minister that there is a considerable advantage for the police in terms of their ability to use drones in everyday policing. And as a Member of Parliament for a largely rural constituency, drones offer an opportunity for response times which other modes of transportation wouldn't be able to accomplish. And I would ask the Minister, as part of this overall review of airspace, what consultations he has been having with the Home Office to make sure that any future required use by the police of drones is going to be adequately covered by the regulations that we are looking at today. And may I close, perhaps, by joining with colleagues in paying a tribute to Captain Sir Tom Moore, a national hero and an adopted son of Bedfordshire. Perhaps with these words that Captain Sir Tom Moore used to encourage us last April, when perhaps we were at the darkest of times, when he said, "For all those finding it difficult, the sun will shine on you again, and the clouds will go away." Thank you.
It's a very good tribute to Captain Sir Tom Moore, one in which I think we would all happily participate.